Michael Townley is one of the most infamous characters in all of gaming. This is mainly due to his character development. So in this video I go over his rise, his fall, and how it led to his rise again. If you like these videos, please leave a like and subscribe. So without further ado, let's go over how this criminal was given his second life that eventually led to him getting a third. Michael Townley was born in the 60s, where he lived with his mother and his father, but though both of his parents were present, this didn't mean he had a good life. Michael's father was an abusive alcoholic, and his mother, therefore, was a victim of this. Unfortunately, both of his parents ended up abandoning him. However, before his mother ended up leaving, he was given a bunch of stories on where his father had went. Anywhere from joining the Navy to getting hit by a train. However, his life of crime didn't start until years later, because he was actually an acclaimed quarterback for an all-state football team. But ultimately his anger issues got the best of him and caused him to quit the team. It is here where his life of crime truly begins. As he was imprisoned by the time he was 20, and in prison he learned how to use a tattoo gun by tattooing a prisoner's butt. His first score was about $10,000 from a small bank in Carcer City. Shortly after this, he started focusing on perfecting his criminal mastermind skills and met Lester Crest. While escorting cargo across the border, he met a man named Trevor Phillips. After a few years of knowing each other, Trevor and Michael visited a strip club where they met a stripper named Amanda. Michael and Amanda would go on to have 2 kids, named Jimmy and Tracy. Trevor began to notice that Michael had gotten soft, being a new family man and having more on his line than just himself. This is when Michael met Dave Norton. It is unclear when exactly they met, but we can assume it's somewhere around 2004. Dave gives Michael an option to move to Los Santos and start his new life. This comes with some stakes as well, as he has to fake his own death and change his identity. It is either he takes this deal or he goes to prison. The plan was pretty simple. Michael, Trevor, and Brad, a recent addition to the crew, went to a cash storage facility in North Yankton. They were supposed to go in, do a quick job, and then leave. At a nearby town, Dave Norton was meant to shoot Trevor in the head and then shoot Michael in the chest. Things got complicated when Michael was grabbed by a security guard and Trevor ends up shooting the security guard right in the head. This causes more alarms to sound and dozens of police officers wait outside the cash storage facility. Eventually they make their way over to the getaway car. The getaway driver is shot in the head and Michael has to take over with driving. Things seem to be going well when they shake off the cops and they start to make their way over to the destination. But then they see a roadblock and they have to take a turn. Though when they pass this turn, an unexpected train comes by, and if they don't hurry up, the train is going to cause them to get caught. While they do get hit by the train, it wasn't enough to destroy the car right away. Dave takes a shot at... This is like actually pissing me off. I can't do this shit, man. I'm about to quit this YouTube shit forever, man. This is fucking crazy. Dave takes a shot at Trevor, but Brad walks in the line of fire. This was not at all a part of the plan, but Dave takes another shot towards Michael. And then... Michael had begun his new life in Los Santos. After a couple years of this, his life started to deteriorate though, as he began to miss the criminal days. His life seemed to have no meaning, it seemed to be boring. And instead of running from the cops and making money, he spent most of the days lounging by the pool, drunk and smoking. And he spent the rest of his days with prostitutes. To add on to this, he ignored his kids, which caused them to lose respect for him. After another overpriced session with his therapist, Michael goes outside and sits on a bench. This is where he meets 2 men who ask him for a location of a beach house. Conveniently, these 2 men work for the same dealership that Jimmy is buying from. This is where we first hear about Simeon Yatarian, an Armenian man who runs the dealership, and is also trying to scam Jimmy with a $5,000 monthly payment. Additionally, these 2 men actually do repossession for this dealership. When Jimmy ultimately fails to pay the $5,000 a month, one of the repossessors, now known as Franklin, comes to repossess the car. Franklin finds a different surprise though in the back of the car. When he tries to bring her back to the dealership, Michael was actually waiting in the back of the car for whatever reason. He then instructs Franklin to take him to the dealership. On the way there, he actually takes a liking to Franklin. He then demands Franklin to drive him to the dealership or else he'll kill him. Once Franklin drives him to the dealership, Michael comes out and tips him. And then he beats up Simeon.
Like it's worth $5,000 a month to you? You fucking racist!
A couple days later, Franklin visits Michael's house. Michael, of course, wasn't expecting this because when he offered the drink, he was joking. Both of them then have a conversation, which I will play now.
You look like a good kid, but if you want my advice, give this shit up. You work hard, screw over everybody that you love, hurt, rob, kill indiscriminately, and maybe, just maybe if you're lucky, you become a 3-bit gangster. It's bullshit. Go to college. Then you're gonna rip people off and get paid for it. It's called capitalism.
Before they go out for the drink, Michael gets a call from Jimmy that the yacht has been stolen. With nothing else to do and the offer from Michael, Franklin tags along. After a while of driving, they finally catch up to the boat. Following a bunch of shooting and chasing, Michael gets Franklin to hop up on the hood and climb onto the boat. Franklin finally saves Jimmy, but Jimmy is hanging from the side of the boat and Michael has to catch him. And then Michael has to catch Franklin, which causes a lot of damage to the hood of the car and he is unable to follow the boat, but at least he got his son back. Michael is not happy about this though, and takes a cab home. Later that night, Michael comes to the house being basically empty, and since it's empty, he goes outside to take a smoke break. It is here he sees 2 tennis rackets, which is weird because it's late at night, and also the tennis court is completely empty. Suspecting Amanda is cheating, he rushes upstairs. Once he gets upstairs, he starts yelling at Amanda and storms into the room. After threatening the tennis coach rushes out the window. Michael makes his way downstairs to find Franklin walking in. Franklin asks what's going on, and Michael tells Franklin that Amanda was sleeping with another man. He asks Franklin if he's in, and Franklin agrees with no hesitation. They begin to chase the tennis coach up Vinewood Hills, and eventually they come across a house that doesn't seem fit for a tennis coach. After a heated argument, Michael instructs Franklin to tear down the house.
Bud, but there were a lot of freaking sessions, Bud. I'm thinking you were working on more than just her backhand.
Mandy's backhand has come a long way, bro. But sometimes it's gotta get worse to get better.
Yeah, well, maybe I should come up there and practice my backhand. On your face!
Oh, Bud, your negative energy is seriously bringing me down.
Oh, I hope it is, Bud. We hooked up, man.
They then tear down the house completely. On the way back home, they meet a bunch of gangsters following them. These gang members are actually gang members from Martin Madrazo, a feared cartel leader. Or as Franklin put it,
Man, Mr. Madrazo is a legitimate businessman who was wrongfully accused of running a Mexican-American gang and a narcotic ring, but the charges were dropped because of the witnesses came up missing.
Michael was then brutally beaten by Martin Madrazo and given an amount of $2.5 million to pay. Michael, not having this money, turns to a different solution.
Is this still the number for Lester Crest?
Who's asking?
Who's asking? Who's asking?
You're awful cagey. Even for a dead man, Michael.
Ooh, you don't sound good, buddy.
Tactful and charming even in death. Come see me, old friend. I'm living in Los Santos, just like you. Murrieta Heights.
Whoa, wait. Hey, how do you...
Michael then meets with a very old and sick Lester. He's given a job to go to Life Invader and plant some sort of device into the new product. Once he completes his job, Lester will help him. Once he is there, he is asked to assist this person with this virus. This character is one of my personal favorites, Richie, who we actually see later on. Richie actually tells Michael where the prototype is, and after planting the device into the prototype, he is sent home. Michael then calls Jay Norris off of this number, and I'll just let you watch what happens.
Hello?
Oh! Yeah, security! Oh, Jesus!
Michael then meets Lester at this garment factory. A very cool voice line is played where we actually get to hear about Nico Bellic, a GTA 4 protagonist.
Engagement ring. Oh, we're gonna need a crew. I can round up some of the old guys.
There are no old guys. Moses, ironically, he found Jesus. All those Irish crazies, they mostly just disappeared. That crew from the south, they all went down. There was an Eastern European guy making moves in Liberty City, but he went quiet.
This is when his life truly begins to change. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to split this video up in 2 parts, and I'm very sorry to do this because I personally hate when this happens, but recently I began working, and I had just started school again, and right now I just don't have the time to devote to this. But if you would really like to see me continue this, please leave a comment, and then I will immediately begin to work on a part 2 for you guys. I am very sorry for splitting this up. Please have an amazing day and consider subscribing.